Talk Nerdy is brought to you by its sponsor AT&T, which provides IU students, faculty, and staff with personal cellular services at discounted rates. Talk Nerdy to Me, a conversation about IT at IU that ranges quite naturally from infinity and beyond. Welcome to episode 10 of Talk Nerdy to Me. I'm your host, Janae Cummings, and with me, as always, the Chewie to my Han Solo, Brendan Howell. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing pretty good. Life's been pretty good the last couple of weeks, so.
So you have to bug out tonight so you can go buy shoes, right?
That's the goal.
It's not really like the most nerdy thing you can do, and I feel like it kind of betrays what this whole podcast is all about.
I mean, I can be a sexy nerd. No one said that's not possible.
This is true. This is fact. So Talk Nerdy is coming to you kind of sort of live from IU Geek Week, which is in the depths of Briscoe Hall. Now, you might be asking yourself what Geek Week is all about, and frankly, so are we. It's a series of geek-focused events on the IU Bloomington campus for all of the geeky brotherhood, sisterhood folk out there. So we're actually broadcasting from a cosplay fashion show, or what was supposed to be a cosplay fashion show, but alas, there are no cosplayers here. I am immediately a liar because I'm looking at cosplayers now. They are the judges. You are not the models. Are there models?
No.
There are no models. So who are you?
I'm Grace Bono.
Awesome. Who are you?
Soldier.
And I'm George Sprague.
And you are?
Huh? I'm Dovahkiin.
So we've got Dovahkiin and Winter Soldier here,
I
right?
just saw that movie last week.
You guys are looking good.
Thank you.
Are you a little sad that you don't have anyone to judge tonight?
A little bit.
That makes us sound like bad people, though. Like,
Yeah.
Because you're judging? It's okay. It's okay. I mean, we're human beings. We're supposed to judge people a little bit, right?
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Where'd you get your hat?
Yeah.
Did you make it?
Oh, yeah. No, 100% all self-constructed.
Really?
Yeah, first attempt at leatherworking ever.
Huh.
So how'd you guys decide to become these two? Like, you first, Winter Soldier.
my best friends cosplay Captain America and Black Widow. So no spoilers about this movie, but Winter Soldier was the obvious choice.
Okay. What about you?
A non-trivial portion of my life went into playing Skyrim while my wife has been in law school, so it was just an obvious choice.
That's not unfortunate.
Huh?
That's cool.
Yeah, you know.
How long did it take you to make that?
I usually start drafting costumes a couple of months in advance, but I don't know, probably, just shy under 50 hours.
Wow.
Do you have, like, multiple costumes?
Yeah, no, quite a few. I'm actually working on a couple of different projects right now. One of my buddies, who's a robotics engineer for some of the military contractors south of town, we're working on a Mega Man Buster Cannon that when you actually stick your hand into it, starts playing the Mega Man theme. It does all the different blasts and everything.
Nice.
And then in preparation for the new X-Men movie, I'm actually making Magneto's helmet right now.
So where do you wear this stuff? Do you guys go to lots of cons and stuff that are around, or?
Yeah, I'm part of a cosplay group, Event Horizon Cosplay, and so we go to cons pretty much whenever we can. We just came back from C2E2, so Chicago Comics and Entertainment Expo.
Did you guys go to the Comic-Con that was up in Indy?
No, unfortunately, I could not go to that one because it was literally on the day that I had to close my residence hall.
Oh.
Yeah.
What happened?
Oh,
mean closed?
spring break.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Nope, Forest is still there. It'll be there tomorrow, too. I know, tragic news, IU.
What? So, what else is going on tonight? You guys just gonna hang out and
Yeah, terrorize Forest.
maybe you should terrorize Bloomington. You should just go out tonight.
I should just, wander down Kirkwood.
Yeah, just like
Just
that.
be like,
it
That
sure
would,
is.
that would be lovely, but I am cripplingly old in the fact that I am 28, and so I go to bed at 10 o'clock nowadays.
George, no.
I know, super fail.
I don't know. I can barely make it past midnight now, but I stick it out sometimes, so.
Well, you've got that big corporate job now.
That is true. I was there at 6:30 this morning.
That's not acceptable.
Yeah. Well, I was gone by, like, noon, so it wasn't that bad.
That's more acceptable. Cool. If you guys are the only ones, I guess we'll say farewell. It was awesome meeting you, though.
Yeah.
No, it was great meeting you guys, too.
If you'd like a T-shirt, you're more than welcome to one.
I never turned down a free t-shirt.
Oh, I don't have them with me. They're in my car. But I can certainly come back down here with them later.
I mean, I think we're splitting pretty soon, right?
Yeah, we're probably gonna head out.
Oh, well then you won't get a t-shirt. It was a pleasure speaking to both of you. If you don't mind, we'll definitely put you on the internet. Your stop by here. So, all right, cool. See ya.
Bye, guys.
They weren't like messing around,
No.
like with the costumes.
He
Like,
made
and they were
that.
just the judges.
Yeah.
No.
Those judges probably shamed.
They would have shamed
All the models.
all of the models. They should have been the models, and then maybe we should have been the judges.
I can't believe they made those costumes though. Especially his. Like his hat was so intricate, and he like sewed all of it himself.
That's really incredible.
Yeah.
We should have them on a future episode just as guests, but they have to come into the CIV in costume.
I don't know a lot about cosplay, but it seems that it would be super cool if you go walk down Kirkwood as the Winter Soldier. You've got to own that down
Well, she's
Kirkwood.
also a woman playing the Winter Soldier, which is a man. So
But we can do that. This is an open world, Brendan.
I don't know how she can embody a male perspective, but
That's not fair. She can.
her costume was awesome though.
It was
so-
awesome. I don't know. That was still cool, though. So
Yeah.
I guess if we're not going to see a fashion show, at least we saw some manner of fashion.
Yeah.
So, yeah, let's get to the news. What are you seeing out there?
So I know we keep talking about Oculus Rift every episode for like the last 2 times.
We do.
But this one I thought was pretty cool. So I saw online this lady or this woman, her grandmother was basically like dying. And she only had like a year or so left to live, if not less than that. And so she couldn't walk. She couldn't leave the house or anything like that. So to give her grandmother her last walk on the beach, she used Oculus Rift to create like a 3D world of her on the beach somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And that was what she used to give her last walk before she died, basically.
That is
So,
one of the sweetest things.
Yeah.
I mean, if Oculus Rift extends beyond video games, kind of as we were talking about last month, it would be
Yeah.
so cool if they could provide those kinds of experiences to people who, for whatever reason, couldn't have them anymore.
Yeah, and it's on Engadget. You can see pictures of her using it and stuff, and there's more about the article there, and it's more detailed than what I'm talking about, but it was really cute. So,
No, that's awesome.
yeah.
So did you see that Snapchat updated today?
Yes, I actually got the update that has a little chat on there, which is kind of nice, but most of the people that you have on Snapchat are people that are in your phone anyway. So, like, you can just text them. But it does have some type of video chat, which I haven't got to work properly yet. You have to have a good data connection or a good Wi-Fi connection for it to work. But the video that they had of it looks pretty cool.
So what's up with your data connection? Are they throttling you?
Yeah, big time. I don't know. For some reason, I go over 5 gigs every month, but I think it's because of iMessage uses so much data. Like if I send a picture, if I send a text message, it goes through as data, not
Yeah.
through like text message. There's the actual plan that I'm paying for, so that's what uses probably the majority of my data.
So I don't have an iPhone, so I don't know a lot about iMessage, but I thought a lot of the point was that so you wouldn't have to spend money on texting. Am I
That's-
wrong about that?
That's true.
But if you're going over your data limit every month, why not just spend the money, a little extra money on texting? It seems like it would be cheaper.
I mean, I have texting too,
Oh.
and iMessage. I pay for obviously data and texting because not everyone I text has an iPhone, so I'm not gonna
Right.
be able to message them with just iMessage. But the perk to iMessage for me is that you can text from your iPad and from your MacBook or your iMac, and it's always there. Plus, if you send someone like a video or a picture via iMessage, it doesn't reduce the quality of it. It keeps it in the same quality that they recorded it in. Whereas if you send a video via MMS, it reduces it drastically and it comes through pixelated when you
Right,
get
right.
it. So
Okay. That's cool.
that's
I guess
what's
I
eating
learned
up my
something.
data is all the pictures and videos and the messages that come through with iMessage because everyone has an iPhone nowadays.
Except for me, I guess.
Yeah. Also, I've seen that AT&T is actually going to beat Verizon in introducing voice over LTE, which has been long talked about,
Yeah.
but no one's really released it.
Right.
I guess supposedly Metro PCS introduced it back in 2012, but
Mm-hmm.
no one has Metro PCS in the U.S. So I guess T-Mobile did just buy them. So now I guess they're
Well,
up
and
coming.
Sprint might buy them.
That is true. So everyone's just buying everybody nowadays. And so, but it'll be good though, because AT&T and Verizon, obviously the two biggest carriers in the United States, and so to
Yeah.
have voice over LTE would give you better call clarity as well as it'll use less battery for your phone.
Right.
And then since you'll be talking over LTE rather than like 3G or 2G, your bandwidth won't the bandwidth would be a lot better, and so your phone won't be as slow when trying to use things like the internet while you're talking on the phone and stuff like that. So,
Right.
Which I'm happy with, but supposedly not every headset now is going to be able to support voice over LTE, so you'll probably have to get a new phone when it comes out, but there's been no announcement about what phones currently have the capabilities or
How
what
convenient.
potential phones. Yeah.
I don't know. I just think that's all kind of shady. Like
I
you,
mean-
if you've come up with this, if it's ready, if it's about to come out, you need to say which phones are available so
But I
people
mean-
can act.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm sure they're like, for phone manufacturers, for instance, there's no point in them putting it in their phones when it's not available yet. They don't need to spend the money to develop that technology for themselves.
Yeah.
Until they're ready to, until there's networks out there that'll have it. So with the new iPhone coming out after the launch of the voice over LTE for AT&T, I'm assuming the new iPhone will have those capabilities too. So. Also, speaking of people buying people or companies buying company, it's not slavery.
No, that's
AT&T
bad.
is potentially buying DirecTV, and if many of you don't know, AT&T sells DirecTV service in their stores along with the UVerse. So if you're not available to get UVerse in your area, you can always have the option to get DirecTV. And I know this isn't very geeky, but a lot of people do watch TV, and a lot of people have DirecTV. A lot of people have UVerse, and a lot of people have Comcast. But DirecTV is probably the best carrier or the best cable provider you can get for sports packages.
It is.
Like boxing and football and like NBA and everything like that. So now that AT&T is going to have access to that directly, then that's just going to increase their customer base as well. And everyone already loves UVerse too.
Well, what I would really wonder is if things like if big DirecTV packages like Sunday Ticket end up on UVerse, that would be massive. I know
would
it would
assume
be in
there's
my
some-
house.
yeah.
We used to have DirecTV and at the last place we lived, and then moved to Bloomington, and you had to pay in our community you have to pay a $500 deposit
That's
for the
ridiculous.
edition. It's absolute nonsense. It's just so they can keep the neighborhood pretty
With their
right?
satellites and
Yeah, and so
everything.
they don't want
Yeah.
satellites on there, so they try to price you out. And so I was like, well, I guess we're just gonna have UVerse.
Yeah.
And but if something like that happens, then really the argument to like shell out that 500 just kind of goes away. Like I would, I would be more than happy to pay up on UVerse
Yeah.
for those extra things. So that's really, really cool.
What else do you have?
That was like a deafening like an echoed Well, I saw that renditions of the Amazon phone came out today.
Yeah, I saw this too on Engadget, and so I don't really understand why Amazon's creating a phone. I feel like there's already way too many phone manufacturers out there, not to mention the Kindle is atrocious if you want like a smartphone
It
or
is.
a tablet or anything like that. It's more geared towards people who just want to read or parents who want to have lockdown on what their kids can and cannot do on their tablet. And so I personally, if the Amazon phone was anything like the Kindle, I personally would not buy it.
Maybe they're going for a different market. Maybe it's
I don't know. I just feel like there's too many operating systems out there now for smartphones, like Windows phones, for instance. People aren't really adapting to that as much as Microsoft had hoped. BlackBerry just tanked as well. And so Android and Apple are out there. There's not really much competition you can do for that, not to mention Android powers the Amazon Kindle. And so it's just a much, much more toned down version of it. So I really don't know what will happen. Like if Amazon came out with the phone, I'd probably guarantee that it would have the same interface as the Kindle.
Right.
And not be a full-fledged Android phone, because then why would they call it the Amazon phone?
absolutely. But I do wonder. It just seems that Jeff Bezos is so brilliant that there must be some kind of angle. Like I have a hard time believing that Amazon is making a phone just to make a phone. There has to be an in game
I
that
don't know.
may.
Supposedly there's like some 3D interface on the phone, and so the phone has 6 cameras, 4 of which are front facing, so it looks at your face, and you can do like 3D gestures to control the phone. But maybe that's geared towards people who are like handy capable that need features like that too. So I guess maybe it is a new market that they're trying to reach out to. The last bit of news that we have for you is about Sony. So Sony actually decided to get rid of its PC making department back in February, and they had to recalculate their earnings for this month actually. And so they're expecting a huge loss after building out their PC side of their business. So Sony, I was rooting for you. Like I love Sony cameras, I love the PlayStation, obviously, but there's not much more they have besides cameras and PlayStation.
No, there
That's
isn't.
it.
But maybe that's okay. I mean, I think I'm going to buy a PS4 here in the
Yeah.
next couple of months.
Yeah.
I don't mind it. I can get, and you can use your IU discount, get 10% off.
Yeah. Well, I think if they can you really? I think if they just divest parts of their business that are failing, then they'll be profitable. I don't want to see them tank, because then that means everything else is going to go.
I don't
with
think
it.
they're going to.
Yeah.
I think they'll be okay. I
But they
think
keep reporting losses every year, and you can't keep tapping into your assets to
that's
pay
true.
for that. So.
That's true. That's true. Maybe the PS4 will bail them out somehow. I don't know. I remember what I really liked about the PlayStation in general early on was that I would use it for my long distance phone calls, like before Skype and before anything else. Like I
You
would
could do
get,
that?
yeah, it didn't charge you. Unlike, with Xbox, you have Xbox Live, you have to connect to the internet. Like with PlayStation, you could simply be hardwired and just get onto a game and talk to somebody for hours.
Oh, that's how you would do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, like get on such and such game and then start a game and then just have a conversation.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know, kind of gaming the system a little bit, but it was convenient. All right, so that's a lot of news we've had today. A lot of stuff's been going on. So, unlike most episodes where we next go to Nita Chris Perez with the utility belt, we're going to skip all the way to Ross Wilkerson, who's going to talk to you about Heartbleed.
Thank you, Janae, and hello again, everyone. Today we're going to talk about Heartbleed, which is a different kind of security problem. We're used to hearing about hacks and malicious code and viruses, but this is none of those things. This is simply a programming error that lets anyone see some data from a web server. The vulnerability is in what we call OpenSSL. That's a free open source encryption tool very common in the internet today. In OpenSSL, your machine occasionally sends a bit of information called a heartbeat back to the server to confirm the connection is working. It works like this. You log into Instagram, the connection is encrypted by OpenSSL, and then every once in a while your machine is going to send this heartbeat. It might be the letters ABC, and then your machine declares how long that test is. The server sends back the same thing, ABC, and if you get back the same thing as what you sent, you know that your connection is encrypted and working. If you want to use the Heartbleed exploit, you just make one minor change. When you send that ABC, you declare that it's 1,000 characters long, and Instagram will send back your ABC plus the next 997 characters in the server's memory. Depending on what that server has been doing, those extra characters could contain usernames, passwords, encryption keys, all kinds of juicy things that bad men on the internet want to get their hands on. There are two things that make this much, much worse. Number one, there's no logging of a heartbeat by default in OpenSSL. So we have a really hard time identifying what servers have been exploited. Number two, you can repeat this attack limitlessly. You can monitor a web server all day if you really want to. You could just keep asking for the most recent information in memory to see what's going on. Okay, that sounds awful. What do we do about it? We change all the passwords. There is a list of sites that have been exploited by Heartbleed published by Mashable. You can Google the Heartbleed hit list to see for yourself. Here's just a few of the big ones. Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, Tumblr, Google, Yahoo, Netflix, YouTube, Flickr, so basically everything. After you change all your passwords on all of those affected sites, ask yourself if you use the same password anywhere else. If you do, and particularly if you also use the same username, you must change the password on that site as well. Even if a site wasn't directly affected, if they got a pair, valid credentials, a username and password, they are going to try that on other sites. Don't wait and see if anything bad happens. Change your passwords now. Change them yesterday. IU's Information Policy Office has an official response posted at protect.iu.edu, and if you read their article, you'll notice they recommend something called password vaulting. Vaulting, several services online that provide this that let you use a unique password for every site that you visit, but only personally remember one. So check out their article if that sounds handy, or if you're curious about Heartbleed, you can find more at heartbleed.com.
So, did you change your passwords in the wake of the Heartbleed debacle?
I didn't do it just because of that. I have a different password for everything. Like I try to keep it somewhat similar. I just changed the format of it basically. So I'll capitalize a letter that's not capitalized in a different password, or I'll change, like if I start with letters at the beginning and numbers at the end, I'll switch around and have numbers first and then letters later, or I'll throw in like a character. But on my work computer, like I have to change my password every 90 days, I think. So
Oh wow.
It's pretty frequent anyway.
Oh, that's fast. You'd only have to
Yeah.
change your passphrase here every 2 years.
Yeah.
So, but probably because people would flip out if they had to change it every 90 days.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's kind of difficult trying to change it every 90 days, but like my passwords for like our bank accounts and for our like finance websites and stuff are all the same. I don't think we have to change those as frequently, but like the access to my computer, which gives me access to all the systems that we have at work, I have to change that every 90 days.
Well, that's
And this notification pops up on your computer like starting 15 days out when that 90 days is going to happen, and it comes up every time you log into your computer.
God,
So,
what a pain.
yeah.
Oh, fair enough. So before we wrap things up, we need to hit a sad trombone in IT. The most recent is that the Google Plus, champion, its father, Vic, how do you say this? Vic Gandatra, I think I said that correctly, is abruptly leaving Google with no sort of notice. He's just gone. He's been there 8 years developing this, and now he's gone. So I like to think, and I'm pretty sure, Google Plus as we know it is pretty much dead.
Well, I don't think it really took off. I don't really understand why Google wanted to have a social network. I mean, we already have enough now. We have Twitter, we have Facebook, we have LinkedIn, we have, I guess,
Well, they had
Instagram
Zuckerberg
now,
envy.
But I mean, it's just like wasted resources that could have been allocated somewhere else for something that wasn't that great. Like, why would I upload my pictures to Facebook and then turn around and upload it to Google Plus when everyone I'm friends with on Google Plus is my Facebook friend at the same time?
Right.
So it was just kind of redundant. I feel like they didn't need it, and so maybe he's abruptly leaving because he sees that it was a failure.
And he's just embarrassed. Well, so he developed it with another guy. I can't remember his name right now, but that guy is still at Google, and they passed over him with someone else to lead the division now. So,
but a lot of people who have like social networks, they just have it for social network reasons, not because they want to. But what am I trying to say?
I think it's fair to say that a lot of people who use general social media networks like Facebook and Twitter aren't that technologically savvy.
Which I think is true, and
the
so
Google
people
Plus
who,
user.
Yeah, and people that you see on Google Plus are people who are usually technologically savvy, and they're diehard Google fans, and they have Google Drive, they have Google like Notes, Google everything, and so they got Google Plus because there's another Google product out there from a company.
Well, and I think
there
is also some of that get away from Facebook. This is cleaner. This has, I can control things a little better. There's more privacy. There are all these kinds of things that I think people think they weren't getting with Facebook.
I was going to say, I think their biggest problem was that they basically forced people to join Google Plus.
Yeah.
Like if you were to
Absolutely
get on YouTube, which, like you said, a lot of non-tech savvy people use YouTube, then all of a sudden you couldn't comment on YouTube unless you were doing it through Google Plus.
Well, and that means using your real name, which it doesn't mean that you're a troll because you don't want to use your real name, which I think a lot of people think like, oh, if you can't use your real name, then you shouldn't be saying anything. Well, maybe I don't want people to know that I've commented on Rihanna's video today. It doesn't matter what I've said. You just don't really need to know.
Yeah.
It's that kind of stuff. And at least with Facebook and having bought up all these things, at least there is still some independence to Instagram. Though they haven't sucked those in and made those Facebook entities where you have to, this is my Facebook information and this is me and this is my identity out in the world and that kind of thing.
Well, I think that there was really no big incentive to switch from Facebook to Google Plus or to use it concurrently. And that's why it really failed. There was no advertising to it. There was nothing really showing you why Google Plus is different than Facebook or why it was of equal caliber, which I don't think it was.
All they really did, they had a few emotional commercials. Do you remember those? Or it was like a girl with her dad and kind of...
No.
It was a girl's relationship with her father, and I think maybe her mother had died or something, and they had this great relationship. She went off to college, and she's keeping in touch with him, like kind of via Google Plus, kind of via Hangouts, like all this kind of... It was
I think it was more Hangouts than anything.
Was it?
But like they would post pictures on Plus.
Yeah.
Trying to make it seem like people actually use it. And like I have friends that have Google Plus too, and they have posted pictures, but it was more of when the pictures or when Google Plus first came out.
I made an effort when it first came out.
Yeah, so
I
did
tried.
Yeah. I guess we can say it's the one thing that Google has failed at. So,
Yeah.
I just don't think that there was really a real reason to use Google Plus, and I understand why people didn't jump on the bandwagon to use it. So
Yeah.
and they tried to like sneak you into signing up for like when you would get a new Android phone, when you would log in with their Gmail account, it would say, "Do you want to join Google Plus?" And most people who have smartphones don't know what's popping up on their screen. They just hit OK, hit next. Next you know, they're typing in their information. Bam, they have a Google Plus account.
Well, now at some point it wasn't even an option anymore. You have a Google Plus account.
Yeah.
You may not use it. You may not know it's there, but it's there. If you hit that plus button, there you are.
Yeah, and then they integrated like uploading your photos automatically to Google Plus. Like every photo you took would just go to Google Plus automatically. Like that can get some people in trouble. So
A lot of trouble. Well, anyway, I guess we'll wrap this up. This kind of haphazard, semi-failed episode from IU Geek Week. But that's okay. We made an effort. We tried to reach out. And if you ever want Talk Nerdy to Me to come to your area to record and talk to you in a more successful venue, you let us know. And that, my friends, is it for episode 10 of Talk Nerdy to Me. If you have any questions, feedback, or simply want to say hi, you can always reach out to us online at talknerdy.iu.edu, on Twitter and Instagram at talknerdyiu, and via email at nerdy@iu.edu. On behalf of the whole Talk Nerdy crew, this is Janae Cummings. Thank you for listening. We'll see you again on Monday, June 2nd. Talk Nerdy to Me is an official production of the IT Communications Office. Copyright 2014, the Trustees of Indiana University.